So, good morning. It is Sunday, May the 5th. About, what was it, 9:04 in the morning. I've been up for about 45 minutes to an hour at this point, and as you can see, Maya is over here, my co-host. What I've done just now is that I've kind of like rewatched some of the uploads that I've done, as far as my blog posts. Not blog, like blog video diary kind of thing that I've been doing. And over the last 8-9 months, I really hadn't had as much time as I planned. Well, not so much planned like I thought I would when I came here to Georgia to care for my grandmother initially. But I figure I'd come and update for anyone who's online watching and are not on my Facebook, are not friends with me personally, where I could send you messages and let you know what is going on. One of the videos I did post on the 12th of April, which basically in the description I did indicate it was the day before my grandmother's memorial, because she did pass away on March 30th, 2013. Around 4:30 in the afternoon, I was here in the room. She had basically started passing away maybe the day before, and as far as the signs and her body starting to kind of shut down. It was definitely a blow. Right now, I honestly still I can't process it in my brain. Like, there's definitely moments where I go to think about something and I want to think, oh, I'm going to tell my grandma about it, or, I'm going to go tell grandma, and it's definitely an adjustment, especially since my entire, I don't know, some of the better part of my brain was focused on taking care of her. And now that she's gone, it's hard. And not even just that. My grandmother passed on the 31st, which was that Saturday. Her mother, my great-grandmother, she passed away April 1st. Was it the 1st or the 2nd?
I think it's the 2nd.
It was the 2nd. Thank you, Maya. It was the 2nd because it was that Tuesday. She passed away as well. And so we lost two of the strongest women in our family within 3 days of each other. And it was definitely a huge blow to our family, because these women were staples and basically the matriarchs of our family. And I don't know, it was definitely hard to see them go, and I don't know what I could give up, if I could give up something to have them back. But, as they say, life goes on. So, because I didn't make an update as well about Miss Maya over here, and Mimi, who's upstairs sleeping, she's not up yet. She came and jumped in my bed this morning, and instead of just staying in her room, but, that's how kids are. I got them back in December of 2012. It took, 6 months of time for me to be able to make a way back down.
You can see half of my face.
Half of your face. For me to make my way back down to Florida, because I couldn't really tear away from my grandmother because of the way we had our care set up. I couldn't just tear away. And also, it was a matter of finances, because I wasn't working. I was only up here taking care of her. And it was a lot of factors in there that contributed to me not being able to leave so readily. And thankfully, I got them back. I actually left down the 26th, the day after Christmas. And let me tell you how I remember, because, like I said, there's always something. My mother was actually in the hospital. She went to the hospital she went in the 24th, like that night, right before Christmas Eve, she went to the hospital. I went and visited her at the hospital. I sat in the hospital with her for the most of the day until they kicked me out. And I was so distraught because we made a plan to go down. She was going to come with me. We were going to drive down. She was going to come with me because knowing the amount of stress that I was under, she knew that it was just a recipe for me to explode and pop, because I've been under so much and everything was going on. It was just like, how much pressure can one person take? And she was there to help me, going to help me. So with her being in the hospital and in intensive care, in the ICU, because she was just vomiting uncontrollably and she couldn't keep anything down. And when she went to the hospital, they checked her potassium levels, and her potassium levels were dangerously low. They're critically low. Like, they were surprised that she was even still walking and alive, because it put your heart at risk. And they were just shocked that she was alive. So, they of course had to keep her, and I stayed with her, because what happened was an ambulance came and picked her up from the house in the middle of the night, the 24th. I was sleeping. My brother is the one who called the ambulance for her, because we couldn't leave my grandmother in the middle of the night. Normally, the other times the moms had to go to the hospital, one of us would drive her. But it was so late at night. So when I woke up the next day and I found out she was in the hospital, I drove over. I sat with her. We sat and watched Christmas Story. We talked. I sat while she had her IVs, because they had to keep pumping potassium into her. And we just sat there for a minute. And I was so, like, she didn't know it because I didn't want to show her it. But I had gotten so just depressed. Like, it was just like, how, after all this time, I'm so close to going back to having them back, and I can't, you're not there. It's like, is this a sign that I should just not go? Like, what is this? So, upon leaving the hospital, I was by myself. I went to the movies. I went over and saw Django by myself. I sat, I mean, it was like going to Six Flags, though, because it was Christmas Day. It was the premiere of the debut of the movie. So everybody was out at the movie theater. I was just standing there by my lonesome. Everybody there with their family, and I happened to see that, and I'm just like, yeah, my life is over. That's how I felt. So, after all that, I get me in a decent seat, got my little snacks and stuff, sat down there and I watched the movie. I think that movie was almost 3 hours long. So I sat and watched it. When I left, I drove back home. And when I got home, I said to everyone, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to get up, I'm going to get the brakes changed and the oil change on the car, and I'm going. I will see you guys when I get back. I will be back before this time. As soon as I have an opportunity, I'm coming right back. That's exactly what I said. I got up.